Hey beauties, it's Beks Thompson here, and I wanted to share with you some gems about failure because there's a couple of things, a couple of very big things about failure that stop you and stop many people and stop me for a while from trying. And also this story in your head about you're not good enough. Yeah, who has that story running around in your head? So let's just hang on a moment. We are actually live at the moment. Just see who's coming on here today. Let me know if you're here. Give us a little wave, a little heart. Now, you've heard me probably say before that failure is inevitable. We have to almost sort of prepare ourselves for failure. But what can happen is that in our trying to do things, we set ourselves up to fail by having expectations, by having higher expectations, and feeling that there's some kind of success and self-worth wrapped up in what we can achieve from whatever it is we try, rather than seeing the process itself as a journey or little steps along the path where we can be successful and celebrate. Now, I know that you know that it's about the small steps, but our minds still get caught up in having done something and feeling like it was purposeless, if you like, if it didn't succeed. Right? And then the fear comes in around, well, what if I fail again? What if this doesn't bring fruit? And there's a beautiful yogic term which says we need to act without being concerned about the fruits of our labors. Yeah, we need to act without being concerned about the fruits of our labors, but also to be able to see in every moment where our successes are. And someone said to me at one of our events, it was at the Radiant Femmes Christmas party the other night, wow, you must be so proud that you have created this and all the events that you run, and it's amazing, and it is amazing, and I am incredibly blessed. This year has felt like the culmination of so much work, but also so many failures. But people sometimes look at me now and see, we have a very successful group, we run successful events. Every month, 6 weeks, we have our Art of Brilliance Without Burnout event. This year has seen us launch and come into a new version of our year-long Be a Beacon program with overseas components. And this is all exactly where I kind of wanted to be, and which is fantastic. But every step along the way, there has been failures, if you like, or are they really failures? They're just things that never continued, all right? Because really, what is a failure? And I just want to give you a list of some of the things that I have done and I no longer do. Is it a failure, or is it just something that was a learning on the path to your next thing? And that's how you can choose to see it. Because I think failure is just one of those words that we create this implication that we are not good enough if something has failed. But what if it was just part of one bigger picture? So I run the Radiant Femmes movement now, but there are many other groups, and I've just written down here the other groups that I have run over the years, right? So I used to do regular full moon nights out on the beach. I used to run labyrinths at different solstices and seasonal aspects. Hey, Sarah. I used to run conscious movie nights. I've spent 2 to 3 years of my life trying to get a private eco community happening in a community garden. That was huge. I ran something called the Fifi Club for mums with young kids when my kids were really little. And that was, I can't even remember what it standard for, but Fifi, it was F-I-F-I, fun, information, friendship, and inspiration, I think. To try and get people together doing different things. What else? I used to bring someone up from the city once a month to do near dance, and we did that. I used to run a community sing workshop every week where we got together and did different folk songs and harmonies and that kind of thing. I used to do regular yoga at the markets here. So they are some of the things that community groups that I have run, probably each of those for at least a couple of years, each of those. So it wasn't something I just did for a little while and then just gave up. I ran it for a few years, but there was something that just kind of like fizzled out and it never quite like really took off. And there was a time when I would beat myself up about that. I'd be like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can just put myself out there again to create community. What am I doing? You know, this is ridiculous. But in each of those things, in each of those events, if you like, or ventures, not only was there a positive impact in the people's lives that did show up, there was a hugely positive impact in my life that has led me to be able to do what I do today. And here are just some of the learnings that I brainstormed the other day on of doing this stuff. And this is just the groups. This is not even like the business failures and different things that I've been through with that. But the learnings from this is really how to lead a group. You know, I remember when I first started with very small gatherings and full moons at the beach, I would be so caught up in my own ego, you know, terrified of how other people would see me, petrified when I would sing even though I wanted to. Just all that stuff going around in your head. So learning how to lead, how to deal with my ego and my own expectations around success and failure and numbers and, you know, those things that go around when we're running events. How to deal with so-called failure, how to manage my energy levels when I'm around other people and running events, working out what it was I really want. When do I want to do something that's just for me and have a personal experience, say around, you know, full moon ceremony, and when do I want to lead that and be part of a group? And for a while that got muddled, and now I keep that a little separate. You know, I keep my personal processes and practices around full moon. I keep that for me and maybe a couple of close friends, and some of the other celebrations and seasonal aspects, you know, I bring in, like I do with my singing solstice chant that we have coming up and we do regularly. What else was the learning? Not to make these things about money or numbers. You know, the mind can get so caught up in that when we are running events, particularly if it's something new, and to sort of be able to get over that. And now I'm in a blessed situation where a lot of those things I do just by donation, and we give that to charity because my income comes from somewhere else. But back at the beginning of that, some of those things were a small part of my income stream as well. And we have to get over the thing around money and numbers being an outcome. What else? To cultivate joy in service. I know way back I used to feel like a little bit of resentment, you know, that I'm putting all this effort in, and, you know, if people don't rock up or they're not appreciating it in a certain way, then I would start to sort of feel that eating away at me and start to build up a little bit of resentment about the time I was putting in, particularly if I was doing it for free. So many learnings, yeah. Being able to ask for help. So now all my events, I have crew that volunteer their services because they love what we do and they want to be around that energy and they want to help others. But for a long time, I was kind of like, yeah, I have to do this by myself. I can't ask for help, or no one's going to want to help. And getting clarity really about how I want to spend my time, and getting simplicity, not trying to do everything. So it's just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to or you should or that people need it. Some things, like I say, are just for you and an honoring for you, and some things you want to give and you want to share that with everybody else. So this is a huge one. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right. And, you know, I'm very blessed to have quite a few sort of skills. You know, I can sing, I can, you know, lead things, I can paint, I can draw, I love ceremony, you know, I teach yoga, various different things that I could do, and I've explored doing them. But it doesn't mean that has to be a huge part of your journey, if that's sort of clear. Yeah, so I used to do a singing group here, and then I loved permaculture, so I do my eco community over here, conscious movie nights over here, you know, full moon circles over here, and there was just so many things. And so it's finding a way to umbrella and sort of pull in what it is that you love and what is the essence of that. And so feel free to play with whatever it is that you want to do and you want to bring out into the world. But just know that it is a play and that there's no such thing as failure. We can try something, and if it doesn't continue, is it failure, or is it just beautiful opportunity to see what it is you really want, to see how you can share you and your gifts in the highest? And every time you transition from doing one thing into another, you take with it the gems, the gifts of the wisdom that you've learnt, and take that into your next adventure. So perhaps if we start seeing things a little more differently, rather than success and failure, and just into transitions, I think that would be a really nice way to look at things. What do you think? Let me know. Do you see things very much in success or failure? Or do you see things in terms of transition? And sometimes the mind might think one way, but the body's not fully on board. And a huge part of the work that I do, it's a fundamental aspect, is being able to marry those two together through deep presence, that what your mind knows, your body holds the wisdom of it. Because if those two aren't matched up, then you are not going to be able to act in the world in the way that you want. There's always going to be something a little out of integrity. Yeah, so while up here is going, I'm not concerned with success or failure, your body and your emotion and those sort of belief systems deep down that are grooved are still showing up and are concerned very much about success or failure. So we need to bring your body on board. And if that's something that you want, then yeah, I invite you to come and hang around with us and come and do some of the work that we do with our half days, because that is exactly what we work on, is getting everything congruent. We need to become the unwavering presence, no matter whether it's success or failure. And I think looking at our path in terms of just multiple transitions is a beautiful way to approach it. Let me know what you think. All right. And have a beautiful Wednesday, everyone. Take care.